In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at these current conditions as always, also diving into some potential snowfall in the eastern United States along the East Coast during the first and second weeks of January. Also, deeper cold air on the way. It feels like summertime outside. It's 65 today, but what I think is funny is 65 feels like 85 when it happens in December or January. But then if 65 happened in July, it would feel like 55 or 45. I don't know how that works. We just adjust so well to the temperatures around us that things feel more extreme when they're abnormal. Very, very interesting stuff. We can clearly see that there is a lot of precipitation happening around the jet stream here. Clearly happening in this direction, kind of making a smiley face here across the nation. From California all the way through the Ohio Valley there, we see this occurring. Where the deeper cold is located, we see it's pretty dry actually. So this is leading towards drier conditions, and then all that precipitation is moving around this cold air mass. Also along the eastern United States, there is some high pressure, but what's going to happen is all of this is going to actually move up into the east. We're going to see a lot more storminess taking place in the eastern United States as the coming days roll by. We can see there's a stronger low up here in Canada, and this is allowing for a cold front to swing underneath. Your warm front is located here. That's why we see a ton of warm air working its way up the East Coast. And what we're seeing along this is actually some severe weather here on the southern end of things. So we'll take a look at all of this. Now, as we take a look at the northwest, we can see just this flow of storminess in through not only the northwest here, but also northern California. We're seeing some of this flow on shore. And this is moving right with the jet stream and diving south here across the region. We can see that for higher elevation areas, this does mean snowfall. So for all of these inland and high elevation areas, we see that white popping up, which is indicating snowfall. And then closer to the coast and lower elevation areas, we're seeing more rainfall as things are more in that form of precipitation. Now for Texas here, we see that there is light to moderate showers taking place across these regions. Actually quite cold as well for a lot of these areas. As that cold air is diving southward here. So probably the further west in Texas you go, the colder things will be. Now this is where we see this northern flow starting out, is these areas here. And this is where we're seeing a lot of these thunderstorms perhaps for a lot of these areas. And as we take a look at southern Louisiana, southern Alabama, southern Mississippi, we see these line of thunderstorms rolling through. Mobile just now getting hit by some of this and passing through. They actually had a severe thunderstorm warning rolling through that region and now hitting the Florida panhandle, so that's something to watch for there. As we work our way further up this kind of frontal boundary here, we can see there is some heavier showers, but doesn't appear to be thunderstorms. Also, as we work our way towards the Carolinas, we can see some light showers moving across these areas offshore. And then we can see for the Ohio Valley, we see a cold front rolling through, but more of a stationary front as this hasn't really moved, and we're seeing precipitation move along it here up into Canada and along that jet stream. We also see some of these lighter showers off to the northeast here taking place, pretty sporadic and spotty. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at the upcoming weather, some of those upcoming storms. Again, big snowstorms possible along the East Coast, certainly something to watch there. And then also some colder air later on is certainly what we're anticipating as we approach the midpoint of the month of January. Now here we are taking a look at the upcoming weather, and as you can see, by the time we reach into tomorrow afternoon, Saturday, we see all of this storminess, look at this, spread up and down the East Coast here, probably moving in this direction with that jet stream. We're seeing move kind of like this at this point. We can see a lot of snowfall happening out west as there's just plenty of storminess moving in with this jet stream on that western end. We see it moving again up the East Coast as well with more rainfall taking place. The heart of that cold is going to be located up here in the northwest and north central regions of the United States. Now that storm moves out, and what we see is even warmer conditions taking place as the jet stream gets even more extreme here with this kind of bubble in the eastern United States and then big trough out west. This allows for a big snowstorm to take place for the plains and upper Midwest here around Tuesday, January 3rd. So we're watching for that. And also what we're watching for is severe weather here on this southern end of things. I'm certainly anticipating the possibility of severe weather across the southern regions of this storm system. And as it reaches the East Coast, this could mean some first thunderstorms of the year for certain folks. Would be very early on in the game, but certainly a possibility at this point, it appears. Now, as we continue things on, we do get a mini trough here in the east, as we have more of a ridge in the central United States, as you can see, just like that, and is allowing for some cold air to head east and some to head west here. So we're seeing that take place by about January 6th. I don't know why I got so choked up there. And then we're kind of left with this more mild jet stream pattern with some more weaker storms moving across. We see 2 of those taking place right now by the time we're reaching about the 10th. Now, what I want to do is draw your attention to the GFS American model. This model gets us further out. And we see pretty much the same thing take place, but when things get different, it's right around the 5th time frame here on Thursday. What we see is some cold air out west, yes, but we see even deeper cold in the east. And what this allows for is a big snowstorm to set up in here, as you can see. By the time we're reaching about, let's say, 5 a.m. on Friday, January 6th, we see some snowfall already starting out for Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania. Take this all with a grain of salt, especially specific details, but the possibility is there. That's the important thing to note here. We do see that this moves up further north and starts to bring more snowfall to the mid-Atlantic. D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, and even New York City here getting involved with this potential snowstorm. And then what we see is this back-end cold air moving in, and this allows for more coastal areas to see snowfall. So we're seeing from Richmond, Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, all the way up for Baltimore, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Connecticut, Boston, all of these areas seeing plenty of snowfall with this, and then it innocently moves out. And I want to see if we have any more. Yeah, we do get another coastal snowfall event here, as you can see around the 12th, according to this model, that brings snowfall to very similar spots. That one lingers, and then we're basically left with this by the time we're reaching the 15th. Let's take a look at the total snowfall on this model, and look at that in the mid-Atlantic here, and we'll actually zoom into that region for you guys, just so we can get a better view here. But as you can see, anywhere in the blues, it's about 2 to 6 inches of snowfall, purple 6 to 10, pinks 10 to 20 there, and then this pocket through here is where you'd be taking a look at potentially 1 to 2 feet of snowfall, maybe even a bit more in that corridor there, which includes Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, Providence there. We see D.C. in here, Baltimore. So you're seeing all your big cities involved in this area, almost Pittsburgh as well there. So certainly a very, very interesting setup here. Definitely take it with a grain of salt, but this model is trending at snowfall for the Mid-Atlantic and New England areas as we approach into January. So there is some things to look forward to potentially taking place. Now, the total precipitation here, and this is according to that European model, over the next 10 days looks like this. Anywhere in the whites, practically none. Your gray's 1/10 of an inch or less. Your green's 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 inch. Your blue's 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Your yellow's 1 inch to 2 inches. Red's 2 to 5 inches there. And then your brown's 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. Blues, which we see for California out here, is even going to be 10 to 15 inches of liquid precipitation, which in the form of snowfall is going to equal a lot. As we take a look at that snowfall here, anywhere in the grays is a dusting. If anything, blues 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purple 6 to 10, pinks 10 to 20, pastel blues 20 to 35, and then your pastel pinks 35 inches plus. We even see a maximum somewhere in here in the Sierra Nevadas of around 300 inches. Is 294 inches of snowfall somewhere here in the Sierra Nevadas. Certainly a gargantuan amount of snowfall still expected, and a lot of snowfall has already fallen and accumulated in that area. Super interesting, especially in a La Nina, where you'd mostly expect it to be further north. We're seeing a lot of these storms take aim further south than anticipated. Now, for the temperature pattern here, we're taking a look at our European ensemble model. We see things stay warm in the east all the way until about the 5th through the 7th time frame, where things go more neutral. We haven't seen any change here on this model, I will say, and then things kind of just even out that way. I do want to take a look here and see if the GFS model disagrees here, because we did see the GFS model has that colder air. It looks very similar here. This is the GFS ensemble model. Right around the 7th looks exactly the same. Yeah, we have pretty good agreement here from the ensemble models as of now. Certainly a little bit more cold air here on our GFS ensemble model, but not a whole lot more. So very interesting either way. Some colder air than we have now is on the way for the 1st and 2nd week of January, and potential like coastal snowstorms as we saw in the GFS model. There's a whole lot to be excited about in the weather department, so be sure to subscribe for daily uploads regarding this weather in the upcoming pattern. If it shows up on the models, we will be the first to know it and show it. So be sure to subscribe for daily uploads, and also hit that bell icon for daily notifications so you never miss an upload. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.